Hi everyone. Last year in March 2018, I wrote a controversially titled article called "I've Just Killed Someone." And this was in relation to a phone call I'd received actually in 2017. I just sat down from lunch and was back at my desk, and my phone rang, and the person on the phone introduced themselves and said to me, "Look, I've been given your name and number, been told you could probably help me with a few things." And we went from there, and I said, "Oh, what's happened?" And he said, "I've just killed someone." Quite literally, as simple as that and as bluntly as that. And then, as you'd imagine, from there he broke down and started crying and then just started to explain what had happened. That phone call prompted me to write this article, which sort of outlined a bit around investigations and what to do and how to do it. And the crux of it was that, you know, you can have you can make your best efforts, you can have the greatest safety plans, you can have all the best training programs, you could have all your documents and policies and procedures, but the reality is things happen. You know, things still do go wrong in the workplace. We see it almost on a daily basis here at Safety Wise that we get a phone call that something's just happened, and we're not talking little backyard companies. We're talking large multinational businesses that really do understand health and safety, have got good budgets, good processes, good procedures, things like that. Despite your best efforts, things can happen. In this article, there was a few things I wrote about being prepared for the unexpected. I think we need to get out of this mindset that it's not going to happen. The fact is, it could happen to anyone in any organisation, anywhere in the world. And I think it's important that we're prepared for those incidents when they occur. So there's a few things that I mentioned in the article which I just want to quickly share and talk about. The first one in terms of being prepared is just around your incident response and management processes. This is about your emergency management plan. This is about identifying before it happens who's responsible for what, who's going to do what, how are they going to do it, what are they going to do, things like that. This is just about outlining the who, what, when, where and how if an incident occurs. The next thing you need to be careful of, the next thing you need to be mindful of when you're looking at being prepared is dealing with regulators. The reality is you're probably going to deal with a regulator. I've never fully understood why, but a lot of people seem to have this negative outlook of dealing with the regulator. The fact is they've got a job to do it. It's an important job, no doubt about it. You need to understand from their perspective what's a notifiable incident, and that's going to vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, but there will be set criteria as to what is a notifiable incident, when you should notify them, what sort of time frames. You really need to understand their authority. The regulator has very clear and specific authority, again outlined in legislation, which gives them right of entry to the workplace, access to people, documentation, might be training records. There's a whole raft of things there. We strongly recommend that you appoint a liaison person to deal with the regulator. So just have a single point of contact that is the go-between between your business and the regulator when you're dealing with them. The next thing to consider in your preparation process is just around legal counsel. So a lot of companies don't have legal counsel. That's fine. I would strongly suggest as part of your preparedness process that you identify legal counsel that you can call on. And I think it's really important that you understand the LPP process, the legal professional privilege. And certainly if you have a look at our blog page on our website, we've got an article specific to LPP which explains in detail a bit more about it. LPP just adds a layer of complexity to an investigation that you need to be mindful of. And look, I'm not going to get into debates of it. There's certainly pros and cons of LPP. The next thing to consider is the family. So I'm talking about the immediate family here of the people that are involved in the incident. Again, you need to be mindful that emotions are going to be running very high. You need to be very mindful again of things you can and can't say to the family, and this is something you may speak with the regulator about as well. But again, just be mindful of those emotions and the fact that things are potentially raw with people, and there's going to be a lot of questions that have been raised as to what's happened and how it's happened. The next one, I guess the extended family, is your employees. So you need to look at employee assistance. So obviously you're going to have staff that are affected. They know the person involved. They may have witnessed the incident. There may be a history of issues that have been raised and so forth in the business. So you need to understand again, who's involved in the incident, who's immediately affected versus those on the periphery, and how you're going to handle those people. Again, be mindful that emotions are going to be running high. And again, look at counselling. There's a lot of counselling services out there. If you don't have an employee assistance program, by all means, I'd strongly recommend you look at them. They're certainly readily available, and they vary in price and so forth, but they can fit just about any business. The next part of your preparedness process is just around investigations. So you need to have a process in place that identifies when you're going to do an internal investigation versus an external. So just very quickly, the internal is done by internal staff, might be a health and safety team or management or something like that, versus external, and that's where the likes of SafetyWise can kick in, and we can come in and lead that investigation. You need to understand who you're going to contact and obviously how you're going to contact them. Certainly we have an on-call capability. Like anyone, that depends on the time of day, time of year, and so forth. We could book, we could have someone on site, within hours to maybe a week or two before we can get someone on site. That really depends on the nature of the incident and workloads and things like that. The final part of your preparedness is just around media. It's highly likely, if it's a high profile incident or a high profile organisation, there's going to be some media interest that's going to be there. Again, just like a regulator, I'd strongly suggest that you put in place a liaison person to act as the go-between between the business and to be the spokesperson. It's really important that you just have that single voice that's communicating with the media and the public and so forth. You don't want other people that are saying things they shouldn't be saying or things they don't understand. It's really important you stay on message and just, again, I'd probably liaise obviously with management, liaise with the regulators and authorities, and just stay on message about what's happened, what's been done, and just be very mindful of what you can and can't say. Again, you need to be prepared. You need to take these steps now. If you're interested in reading the full article, by all means go to the blog page on our website, and in the comments section below I'll put a direct link to the article as well. But by all means, if you've got any questions, drop a message to us, write a comment below the video, and we'll be by all means we'll come back to you and have a chat. Thanks for that.